so we are live. Okay, hello everyone and Happy New Year. This is Patricia Lindner with a new episode number 8 of the Soul Dialogues. And so if you are watching us live and you want to comment, please allow StreamYard to use your name. You just have to click a button above and then we can see who is online. Today, I want to welcome Betty Withrow, and she's a writing professional. She's doing so many things with the written word, and she's doing such an amazing job. I met her by accident, or was it destiny? I don't know. And we really connected very, very well. And so that's why I wanted to bring her live to you, because she has so many gifts to give and share with you. And so, Betty, welcome. Would you please introduce yourself a bit more, because you are the expert for yourself and you can tell many more things about your work and yourself.
Sure. Thank you for this warm and beautiful welcome, Patricia. I am Betty Withrow, and I'm the owner and operator of the Writer's Launchpad. I am a published author, a blogger, a workshop leader, and a speaker. I am passionate about the written word, and I've made it my mission to support entrepreneurs by making sure that they have materials that can support them in their businesses. And so that's what I'm about. And yes, I met Patricia in a speed networking event online, seemingly by chance. But I don't believe in accidents. I believe we were brought together for higher purpose. And before this interview, we were just talking a little bit about that kind of thing, how the unseen comes into the scene, and which is part of one of the mysteries and of language and all of the possibilities that it holds for us.
Yeah, and Betty, so you are so really connected to words, and you really like playing around with words. When did this passion for words come to you? Ever since, or when did you really like the language, the written and the spoken language? When did this come to you?
Well, when I was a child, there was a program where you could get an encyclopedia at the supermarket if you bought a certain amount. And I got volume 1, and the first, I think the second entry in it was alphabet. I think I was 5 or maybe 6. And when I discovered the origins of the alphabet, I got really super excited. I mean, it was great. And all of a sudden, I realized that this system of writing had these deep origins, and then it progressed from there. I turned into the kid who carried the dictionary around to win the spelling bee, and so it's been forever.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this really makes you the expert for the spoken and written language. I know that you have this Word Nerds group, which is a fun place to hang out, and it's all about those really. So there are so many words in the English language. So I'm not a native speaker, but I guess lots of people who are native speakers never came across the words you just bring up there in the Word Nerds group. Do they?
No, I didn't know that word myself. When I started getting into, I had learned it early in life, but I forgot it. And so then when I started getting more into writing professionally, I went, I need to polish up my rhetoric skills and bring those teachers back. And so I started looking into how images are formed in speech. And the one that I brought up, which is a synodoc, is using shorthand to create an image, like, for instance, saying the White House to indicate that level of the federal government, rather than speaking about who individually is speaking, is an example of that. And it's done a lot with sports teams and in broadcasting. It's just part of the way we think. And so we are having a lot of fun in Word Nerds. I'm loving it. And I was like, well, let's bring up some of the stuff that fascinated me earlier in life, which is, for example, how words are created. And that word in particular came from the Greek, and then it went through the Romans, and then it entered the English language. And yet it's still out there, obscure. Most people have never heard about it. And until I encountered it again, I went, and I went, ding. Oh yeah, I sort of remember that.
Yeah. And so what was it? Synagogues.
Yeah.
So do you want to know what I think of when I hear synagogues? And now I think people will laugh about me. So synagogues is for me dogs who go to the cinema and really like watching movies. This is what I come up with.
That's the kind of play that we're getting to have, and I love that. I love how people are just coming, off the wall, as we say in America, and doing that kind of thing together. And people from all parts of my life are coming together and to know one another. I'm just loving that as a community.
Yeah. So I highly recommend the Word Nerds group, which is just the fun part of language, and you just spread this passion for really strange words. And I oftentimes have to laugh really aloud because I did never ever hear about certain words. And at the first time, I didn't want to participate in writing down something because I thought maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I don't know anything, and they would just think, the German person. But now it is so much fun to read and to participate.
Yeah, and by your name, no one would know that you are German anyway. And besides the fact that you speak better English than a lot of native speakers.
Thank you.
Truly, yeah.
But,
like I said, you should hear my German. You won't complain about it.
You are funny. So now we talked about this fun part, but you are really doing serious and really helpful work, providing for everyone, especially for entrepreneurs or people who want to bring out something like a book or a website or anything that really needs good content and good wording. So did I cover everything you do, or what is the professional side of really dealing with words, wording, and language?
Well, what I'm focusing on a lot is creating copy for people, because people need copy for their marketing and their business, and they don't know how to create it. And the biggest thing I hear is that they don't have time to create it. I'm focused on entrepreneurs because I am one. I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was a teenager, and I always hear, I don't have time to do this. So I say, well, don't not have time. Have me. Get it done.
Yeah.
And it's very rewarding for me because I get to know the clients and what they're about, and take whatever they have and put it into written form so that they can use it for their branding. And then they have something that's uniform, that reflects who they are, and they can put it anywhere. They can put it on a blog, they can put it in emails, they can use it. I've helped people create flyers, show announcements, PowerPoints, whatever it is that they need. And it takes the load off of them. I mean, I had a guy that I was talking to yesterday who, his website needs work and he knows it. And he's like, every time I write something down, I hate it and I rip it up. And so I said, well, don't do that. Just send it to me and I'll fix it. And he goes, what? I write it again? I'm so stressed by just the idea. And I said, so don't. Send me a voice memo and I'll write it. So I work with whatever people have. Some people have like a video or, any number of things, just a brain dump, just their ideas. And then once I get the flavor of who they are and what their brand promise is, I can create something for them. And that's what I'm really passionate about, because entrepreneurs are very dear to my heart. I truly believe that entrepreneurs will create the solutions that the world needs.
Yeah. And so now I hear my voice. Oh. I don't know why this is happening. Do you hear it too? No.
As an echo? No.
It was an
earlier.
I had an echo, but now it is gone.
Good.
So so you really let them tap into their zone of genius and let them. You are a big time saver.
Right.
Because I know lots of people who really don't want to engage in writing. And so the next question, even if you like writing, there are, I guess, certain points that really make the copy powerful.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. So if you just would love to share anything out of the whole repertoire, what makes
I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that. I have a system that I call the 3 Golden Apples. And I have a program, the 3 Golden Apples for Business Writing Success, which is on my website. And, you can buy it as a standalone self-paced program if you like. And it focuses on the 3 central elements of all communication, which are language, choice, and outcomes. So it comes down to speaking in the language of your market and knowing who your customers are and meeting them where they are and talking to them in the way that makes them feel comfortable and supported by you. So they don't have to come and meet you. You've gone the distance to go meet them. And then when you've established that, then the golden apple number 2 is to position yourself as the choice, the only choice, the best choice, by highlighting your skills and expertise in an effective way, using examples so that the customer can visualize working with you because you can point to past success. And then golden apple number 3 is to focus on outcomes and results. We know that the customer wants to know what's in it for me. And when you are able to paint that picture of success and say, here's what's in it for you when you choose me as the choice, here's how it's going to look, here's how it's going to feel, here's the feeling of success that I will work with you to create. Then you've completed that cycle and made it so that the person is ready to continue the conversation with you and hopefully buy from you.
Yeah, so what I heard is, and you just tell me if I got you right, it's all about the customer. Yes. You have to jump into your customer's mind and brain, and not be the person who wants to share everything about herself or himself, the awesome tools and techniques. The customer wants to be understood, wants to be seen. And so if he or she reads the copy, he needs to lean back and think, she's talking about me. He's talking about me. She knows what I am suffering from, and she has the solution. So it is all about the solution and about the customer and not about me as the entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's always about the customer. If you ever become understood in business, that's a side and a benefit, and that means that you're already friends. But before that, understanding the customer is paramount, and it's crucial. If you don't understand your customer, then you're going to speak to them in a way that doesn't work for them, and they're going to tune you out. But if a person reads your copy and says, whoa, she's looked at what I'm about and she talks to me my way, she gets me, then they're ready to look into you more and say, okay, well, how does that work? And that's the time to begin to open up your toolbox and say, here's how I do it.
Yeah, and so you talked about the self-paced course you offer.
Yeah.
Do you also offer like live workshops or something where? Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I'm having one this Saturday in Pacific Coast time in the United States. It's at 10:30, and it's a live version of the 3 Golden Apples workshop. It's interactive. The cost is $25, and it's also on my website, thewriterslaunchpad.com. So if you wanted to sign up, I would be delighted to have you. We're going to have some fun. And
yeah, we are going to put this underneath the video. The video, you just can do it, or I can do it after
okay.
the live video. That people who watch the replay, and if you watch the replay, just comment replay or ask any questions. We are delighted to answer them, even 3 days, 5 weeks later. So it is the Writers Launchpad, and there is the live workshop on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. And then you do editing of any sort of work.
Yes.
And in your description, I also read that you are sort of an artist. And this is what really interests me as with an artist heart.
Oh, yeah. Well, we do need to talk about that more, Patricia, as we get to know one another, because
Yeah.
part of my background as an entrepreneur is that my first business that I started at 16 involves making handmade fashion items for women. And I still do that.
Mm.
Yeah, I make hats and little zippered bags at this point, but I've gone a long way. I went into high-end couture at one point. I had a wonderful client who has a wedding business, and she had this gorgeous salon with chandeliers and the whole thing. So I was making silk jackets and really sporty little cocktail hats and everything for her market. And then she closed her salon and moved her business into her home. So I also changed my approach to that business. But I do that, and I love to paint. I love to make music, and so there's many different mediums to express oneself. But when I realized that there was all these things that I knew, and I thought everyone knew them, and then I realized they don't, and so it would be of service for me to bring them out and make them accessible to people. That's why the three golden apples happened, because I wanted to simplify what I had learned about language from my amazing mentor and rhetoric teacher, Mrs. Shelby, who was one of the most rigorous and most loving people ever, and had some of the highest standards I've ever encountered.
Wow.
But, and it was very intellectual. Like words like what we're doing in Word Nerds and things happen all the time. We had to write. We had to carry, we had to carry a lot of intellectual weight. And I went, wait, how about if I simplified this and made it so that people could get it, and they didn't have to do all that heavy lifting that I did.
Yeah. So
I
this is
did it willingly, but it's and I'm happy that I've managed to put it, make it, as I said, accessible to people. That's means a lot to me.
Yeah. And so this is awesome. This just gives me such a big picture of what you do. You do the Word Nerds, which is, there is a serious background, but it is so much fun. You do the Writer's Launchpad, which is making really intellectual and difficult things easy in 3 steps with 3 golden apples. And then you do the artwork. Mm-hmm. So you are really gifted in so many areas. And then I just wanted to ask you, that's what just came to my mind when you were talking. Do you also take on like clients who want to be coached in like helping them with their, I don't know, language skills or something? So like one-on-one?
I have coached people with writing their books, for example. The book is mostly done, but not all the way done, and I've coached them through completing the manuscript and editing it for them. So I offer a free consultation of a half an hour to discuss what a person wants and needs. And I have a life coaching background, and then I settled on words and language because it's such a powerful tool for transformation.
Yeah.
So if you send me an email, let's set up a time to talk and find out what's needed and make it happen.
Yeah. So this is fantastic. And now I just have one question on my mind, and this is: are you also into creative writing?
Yes.
Yes. So this is, we really didn't talk about this. I didn't know this was just asking into the blue. I don't know if you say this in English and if this is a correct expression, asking into the, I don't know.
We say out of the blue.
out of the blue. So this question came out of the blue, and I wanted to ask you this, and you could have said no, then I would just have to think about another question. But is there a really quick exercise or something that people who watch this, the replay or live, something really, a quick creative writing thing we just could, like, for a couple of minutes we could do, or is it too complicated?
No, it's not. I have a tip that's a 1-minute tip for developing your content. And I've been using it for the business aspect, but I'm working on the 3 golden apples for creative writing too, because the same principles apply. And I haven't put that workshop together yet, but I am working on it. So the tip is get an index card and set your timer on your phone or whatever for 1 minute. And do a brain dump. Write out everything that comes into your mind about your chosen topic. If it's your business or if it's your creative writing, what comes to mind, what leaps up, and if it comes up more than once, write it down. And don't think about it. Just like fire hose it. Make it, and you just keep going. And because when you first start doing it, a minute seems like a really long time, but it's really only a minute. And then after the timer goes off, put the pen down and go, whoa. And, and then you can look at what you've written and you'll start to see a pattern. And you can use the patterns that you see to start to develop your topics.
Yeah.
I like to ask people to draw them back into golden apples 1, 2, or 3. And in any case, you'll start to see how they connect and how they relate. So, and then and for creative writing, it would be the same thing. Like say you have a group of characters or a theme or a place, if you're writing fiction, and you put them all down and you go, okay, how do these fit together? And if you only do this once, then you definitely have more clarity right away. But if you do it every day for say a week, and you come up with 3 topics each time you do it, then you have 21 topics that you can expand on and use to build your outline for your book or for whatever it is that you want to put together.
Yeah, you know what this makes me think of? The Artist's Way. I guess you know it, do you?
Yeah, I have heard of it. I haven't actually done all the exercises, but I do some of the things that I understand are in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I read the book. I guess it was a couple of years ago, and I really did what the author said we have to do, or one has to do. Every morning I got up half an hour earlier, sat down just with this sleepy face, and wrote everything that came to my mind for half an hour, like 2 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just I didn't read through it. And when I did some cleaning work, I found these papers. I did it for several weeks, and this was really a treasure trove of insights.
Mm-hmm.
And it is really changing your life to really write things down and put them on paper and not judge them.
Right.
And always go on writing, go on writing, go on writing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it clears your system. And I do different things with writing. Sometimes well, the first thing I do is go for a walk. And then when I come back, I like to write. And one of the things I did was write out all the affirmations for very positive statements about who I am, how I'm supported, how life brings me everything I need, and all those things. And then say them out loud. And it's the same thing. Them just like whatever's coming up. And it was a great way to process emotion, replace anxiety with positive statements and that kind of thing. So writing is a huge tool for self-development.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this brings me to my last point. I mentioned it to you just before we went live. Mm-hmm. I have been reading this book, and it is about the magic of words. And the author suggests that if you want to have an unhappy life, you have to complain very often, as this will be your reality. And I just want to challenge you, everyone who watches this conversation, this interview. I want to challenge you and try to, at least for one day, not complain at all. And this is quite difficult because there are tiny little complaints every day. And I have been trying this for several days now. And sometimes I really get to the point where I tell myself, oh, am I such a negative person? I am not. But try to leave out all the complaints and try to pronounce only what you want your life to be like, even if it is so hard, even if there are body issues, problems at work, with your spouse or whatever. Leave out all the complaints. This is such a valuable tip. And if you want to do more, just do it for a couple of days or a week and see the magic happening. And this is true. This is not hoo-hoo. Words have so much power. And yeah, so before we come to an end, I want to ask you, Betty, do you want to add anything to this?
I think we've made a pretty complete presentation here, and well, one thing I want to add is thank you for inviting me, and it's been really delightful getting to know you. So I encourage everyone who's watching this video to get to know Patricia more, because there's a lot to her and what she's about. Like the hidden aspects of life are very real, and I encourage you to follow what she just said, is to think in very positive terms and say very often to yourself that you are loved and that you are worthy and that your desires are real and they can come true, and step into that and write it continually, because whether you do it with a keyboard or whatever, when those things come through your hands, your mind body connection comes together and it reinforces everything and makes you more able to receive.
Yeah, super. Lovely feedback. Thank you so much, Betty. Thank you so much for being my guest on this episode. And I am so much looking forward to connecting with you again. And the only thing that I want to tell you out there, everyone who is watching, you matter. And this is what you said, you are loved. And I think you matter is the most important thing. You matter as this human being with who you are, exactly who you are. And I am so grateful for everyone being in these groups, being here and watching us or not watching us. This is totally okay. And I am going to send out so much love to you, wishing you a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, or a happy evening, or a good night. So talk to you soon. Bye for now.